God, if I look a little shell-shocked, you're right, Fudge, if I look a little shell-shocked, it's I've had the most horrific drive, I think, ever since having a motorhome, which I'm going to tell you about later, but I definitely need to pitch up now and get a cold beer before I talk about it. So, as promised, I'm going to talk to you about the traumatic experience. Now, that was yesterday, and I said I'd talk about it later, but I've had to wait till today to talk about it because it literally was, well, from my perspective, a fairly terrifying experience. And Sue was really calm throughout this. Normally she's driving for me and things like that, but she was actually really quite calm, which was surprising. So, what happened? Well, we were staying at a little site just outside Gosforth, and when we'd looked at the map, actually it didn't take us that long. It was only about, I don't know, 3-4 miles away to get to the site that we're at now, which is Church, Stile, Farm and Holiday Park. There's a little map that you get when you get here. It's in a place called Nether Wasdale, and I've got to say it's the first place that we've actually come to and stayed at that I thought I'd really love to live in this village. It's tiny and there's 2 pubs and stacks of walking. Anyway, back to my traumatic experience. So what happened? Well, we decided we need to shop between sites, and we'd gone all the way back to Whitehaven, not that far, it's only about 12 miles, but we went back to Whitehaven because Big Morrison's, and that's where we did our shopping. We then drove back and went back through the little place called Gosforth. We knew we were actually going to go past the Bolton Hall where we'd stayed, and as we were going through Gosforth, we were waved down by a guy. And he came up to the van and he said, "Can I just ask where you're going?" And he was wearing a Lake District kind of ranger outfit. And we said, "Oh, we're going to Nether Wasdale, not quite sure how you say it." And he said, "Oh, don't go that way. You won't get there in that van, it's too big. If you meet another van, you won't be able to get past, and there's no passing places," he said. "But don't worry," he said, "drop back onto the what's it called? I think it's the A595. So hang a left on there, and then hang a left on the Dunnerdale Valley, and just follow the signs." Okay, brilliant. He said, "It's about another 30 minutes, but you won't run into any problems." So that's what we did, or at least that's what we thought we did. We got back onto the A595 and we drove, and we were looking for the Dunnerdale Valley. Now, this is the map, the road map that we've got. It's a camping and caravan one, and I bought it specifically for our travels because sometimes it's not wise to follow the sat-nav. So particularly when you're in places like the Lake District, the sat-nav can take up some very small paths, so I always like to check on the road map. And I had to check the road map, and I felt that looking at the roads, the size of the roads we'd already been on, that we were able to get through Gosforth in that way. Anyway, but of course we believed the Lake District Ranger, and why wouldn't we? Anyway, so we were looking out for the Dunnerdale Valley, and I'm looking at the map now because I have found the River Duddon Valley, the Duddon Valley, and I have found the River Duddon, and we did take a turn just over Duddon Bridge, and it was a long, very long, much longer way round. It was certainly more than 30 minutes. In fact, it was probably another 2 hours longer. So that's why we say don't do what I did. And there is also a Dunnerdale as well, and it's all around the same place. So once we turned off the A595, this is the bit that I absolutely terrified myself, because it was, well, what can I say? I have no idea. There were no signposts to say it was a really steep road like you sometimes get, I don't know, 20%, 30%, whatever, 14% steep in my van. We didn't see any signs, but there is a series of very, very small bends and very, very steep road, to the extent, and there was nothing else on it. There was another van coming the other way, but that was right at the start, and we were able to pass with no problem. I knew if I'd had to stop on this series of about 4 or 5 bends going up this really steep road, that I'd have had to reverse all the way back down again, because I wouldn't have been able to restart. As it was, in first gear going up these bends, it was well, I could feel my wheels were skidding and turning, and so by the time I got to the top, I was then terrified for the rest of the journey that we were going to have to meet something else like that. And then saying to Sue, excuse me for my French, but I was saying I'm shitting myself, and I'm really worried about the journey back as well. So as it happens, Sue has now run the route that we would have taken had we not followed the Lake District Rangers, and says it's perfectly fine. It's you know, it is narrow, but there are some passing places, and therefore it's no more difficult than any of the other roads that we've done. So the reason I'm telling you about this is because, well, one, it was an experience that I don't want to repeat, but two, I thought it might be useful for anybody else that's going to Nether Wasdale. It's a great place, absolutely love it when we got here, but don't come the route I came. And I'll try and put a map onto the screen so you can see that, see the way we took, and don't take the same route. We're gonna when we leave here, we're gonna go out via Gosforth, the way that we would have come in had we just gone the way that we had read on the map looked okay. And Sue running it, of course, is confirmed it's okay, and it's far better than the route we took. Whew. So that was it. I hope that's been useful, and I'll carry on telling you about the rest of the adventures over the next week. So I think we've really found the crown in the jewel of campsites. This is the campsite that we came to, told you about the adventure in getting here, but it's called Church Stile Farm and Holiday Park. So it's not a little CL site. but it's an absolutely beautiful site. It's got some static caravans that would appear to be privately owned. It's got some shepherd's huts. It's got electric hookup and hard standing for those who need that, and also some pitches for motorhomes without electric, and lots of grass pitches for tents. But it's actually really quiet at the moment, surprisingly, because the location is just superb. It's a beautiful little village if you can even call it that, called Nether Wasdale. There are 2 pubs, although we're not actually sure that both of them are open. We know that one certainly isn't. They're literally opposite each other. Less than half a mile down the road is a farm shop, and it's called Sawmills. There's a farm shop and a little cafe, and this is a superb location for those people who want to do the big walks. So about 3 miles along a very narrow road from here is Wasdale Head, and there's parking there, so if you've got a car and you can get up there by car, or bicycle, you can get up there by bicycle. Then you can start one of the routes to Scarfell and Scarfell Pike, and we've noticed that quite a lot of people here are here for the walking. Absolutely brilliant. The site itself has got a little shop, which is essential because it's the only place that we can get a signal on site, so we can get Wi-Fi through the shop. And again, it's a tiny little shop, but it has lots of essential. Got some things that they clearly sell from the farm, so I've noticed sausages and burgers, suntan cream. As you can see, the weather's great, so suntan cream might be needed in certain times of the year. Probably not that often here, but we've been very lucky. There's a toilet block which is clean and tidy. Usual freshwater, wastewater facilities, grey waste and your toilet chemical waste. Perhaps one of the downsides, if you do want to watch TV, we can't get TV signal here. I guess if you've got satellite you're okay. No phone signal, no Wi-Fi or anything like that. Wi-Fi by the shop, of course. What else can I say about it? We've found lots of quite short walks from here. Again, ideal. We can walk up to Wastwater from here and walk there and back in about an hour, which is again a perfect walk when we've got Archie and his arthritis. It's got laundry facilities, so Sue's happy. We can do a bit of washing whilst we're here, which was desperately needed. What else? The staff are friendly and helpful. There is a little shuttle bus, albeit we think it probably only runs at the weekends and on bank holidays, and that's to take people from Nether Wasdale, where we are, up to Wasdale Head, where you can set off on one of the well-treaded paths up Scarfell, which of course is the biggest mountain hill in England. So part of the Three Peaks Challenge for anyone who's interested in doing that. What else can I tell you? I think it is my favourite site of all the sites that we've seen. I asked Sue what she thought, and she's a little bit unsure, probably not her favourite, but on a par with the others that have been favourites along the way. It's probably the one place that we've been whilst we've been on our travels that I thought, I could really live here. I'm really conscious that we've been blessed with the weather whilst we've been here. I'm sure there's lots of times a year when you really wish you didn't live here, and of course it's not the easiest place to get to. But I felt today it was really worth giving a full site review of this place. Forgot to mention, we don't have children, or not at least small children. There is a little children's play area. There's also a little area set aside for ball games with some football posts out. So I think that's probably it. Probably the greatest thing is it's quiet and it's in an absolutely beautiful setting. And so if you come here, you're definitely going to get some peace and quiet. Great coffee as well. The latte that the little shop sells, Pennington's, which is a local Cumbrian coffee, and they make a great latte. So lots and lots of bonuses all round. So again, hope you found that useful. If you're anything like us and you love the outdoors, this is a properly nice place to be.